Hello and welcome to this week's Media Studies lesson. As you can see, we are going to be looking at a new close study product, which is the Audrey Hepburn Galaxy advert. When you get back into school, we will stick this personal learning checklist into your exercise books. The focus of this unit is on the context, about explaining who the audience for this advert is and why, to know and understand who Audrey Hepburn is, and to understand why Galaxy chose the actress Audrey Hepburn. We're then going to be looking and analysing the meaning of the advert to describe the narrative structure through using Prop and Todorov, and explain how they tried to persuade us to buy the product. Then finally, and what we're looking at in quite a bit of detail today, is the media representation. So looking at why nostalgia is important to the Galaxy target audience, being able to explain why celebrity is important to the Galaxy target audience, and also explaining how the advert links to a golden age for the chocolate industry and advertising, and explaining about the stereotypes and how women fit in to society. We're also going to be looking at CGI, computer generated imagery, and see how that fits into the advertising industry. So moving swiftly on, you're now going to be watching the full length CGI Galaxy chocolate advert. So, I hope you enjoyed the advert. So, after looking at that, we're going to be looking at the historical context of the confectionery advertising. So, advertising chocolate. Nostalgia is about looking back into the past and yearning for it, wanting it, longing for the olden days. And that is frequently used advertising tool because it makes the past seem so much better than what we've got now. And it is particularly common in the chocolate industry. If we have a look at the image on the left of the Cadbury's bars, we can see that the packaging design points to nostalgia because it's very traditional. You've got the 2 glasses of milk going into the chocolate bar. If we have a look at the Galaxy advert, it says it not only tastes good, it does good. And it gives you a share of country goodness. So whilst the font in the image has changed with Galaxy, the key messages about goodness has stayed consistent. It's stayed very, very similar. What I would like you to do, either by using a dictionary or a search engine in your exercise books, I would like you to find out or write about what you think nostalgia is. The second task I would like you to do is think about, why does the chocolate industry seem to have a focus on nostalgia in their advertising campaign? I want you to go onto YouTube and I want you to search all different chocolate adverts and see if they do focus on the past. I want you to think about the target audience, so who they're aiming their chocolate towards. Is it about the perception of it being natural and a wholesome product? And is there really a desire for more traditional times? And are the olden times perceived as seen as being the best? And the final task is, why do advertisers use images of older times in their advertising? So I'd like you to pause this now and spend a good 30 minutes on researching those 3 tasks and writing up the information into your exercise books. Once you've done that, you can take a screenshot of your work and email it into us or send it on any of our media platforms for us to look at, and I'll also mark it for you when we collect your books back in. So we're now going to look at the use of computer generated imagery, CGI. So the advert that you saw for Galaxy Chocolate used CGI. Now, the lady that you saw in the advert was Audrey Hepburn. Now, she was a film and fashion icon and was famous during Hollywood's golden age. She was ranked by the American Film Institute as the 3rd greatest female screen legend, and she encapsulates the golden age of Hollywood. So she is their icon, the person that we think about when we think about the olden days of Hollywood films. Now, Audrey Hepburn is dead. So how have they managed to bring her back to life, and why have they done that? Well, in 2014, when they created the advert, the Guardian newspaper wrote an article on this, and it's about how they resurrected Audrey Hepburn for the Galaxy Chocolate ad, and this is what it states as in the 2nd paragraph. Audrey represents heritage, classiness, and elegance. So from a strategic and creative point of view, it made sense for Galaxy to communicate its silk, not cotton branding through these qualities. What was less clear, however, was just how we were meant to recreate an iconic and globally recognised face when the original footage exists at a resolution incompatible with today's high standards. If you do go on YouTube, you will actually see that there is another advert which hasn't used CGI, and you'll see that the images are grainy. So what happened was the advertising company had to gain permission from the estate of Audrey Hepburn, and this is managed by her sons who are still alive. However, does this place a moral and ethical question about the use of dead celebrities or their work in selling a product? Would Audrey Hepburn have consented to this when she was alive? So again, I want you to pause this clip now, and I want you to answer the questions in your exercise books. What does CGI stand for? What does it actually mean? Again, not just what the 3 letters stand for, but can you actually research what it actually means and what it entails? Then I want you to look at and think about, why are there moral issues related to the CGI use of a dead celebrity in an advertising campaign? If they were still alive today, would they have actually wanted to have been in the advert? The sons find it acceptable, but would Audrey Hepburn herself have found it acceptable? People who are dead have not got a say. They have not got any rights over what they do. Is it acceptable? Okay, if you'd like to pause the clip here, and once you've done the work, you can then press play. Okay, now what I've done is I've taken a bit of the article from The Guardian and I've talked about how they resurrected the Audrey Hepburn, the trademark, for the Galaxy Chocolate ad. As you can see in the image, that is a computer-generated Hepburn, and she was recreated, she was resurrected for this ad, and you can see her on the right-hand side in her picture. Now, it wasn't every day that they were asked to bring back dead celebrities from the grave, but in their line of work, it was becoming more common. And they say it's something we at Framestore were asked to do when we resurrected Audrey Hepburn for Galaxy's chauffeur commercial. So, if we have a look at the 2nd paragraph, because we've already read the 1st paragraph a couple of slides back, it said, we ended up completely recreating Audrey's face in computer graphics, CG, a feat never before achieved at such close-up scale. If this doesn't sound like a big deal, it is. Replicating a photorealistic 100% CG human that stands up to close inspection is the mecca of visual effects, VFX. So this project was an industry first and took us to the edge of what's possible. Her skin, eyes and facial hair are just too perfect when rendered through a computer. So there has to be crucial humour subtleties like the flicker of an eye, so it can look robotic when computer generated. So why go 100% CG, computer generated? Well, they couldn't take the easy option of filming a lookalike and disguising mismatched nuances through shadows and camera angles, because first, Audrey was the absolute star of the show and there was no hiding her in a dark corner. Second, as the ultimate symbol of beauty, the likelihood of casting a near-perfect match was nil. So they went the whole hog and digitally recreated every millimetre of her face. Sorry, please excuse the errors I've made. So to get reference material of how Audrey would look and act in the script scenes, 2 body doubles were cast, one to represent her minute 20-inch waist and another to convey as closely as possible her distinctive facial bone structure. Once shot, they'd have the footage and data to augment with VFX. Before the main shoot began on the Amalfi Coast in Italy, they scanned the face double using FACS, Facial Action Coding System. That session captured a plethora of high-res skin textures and more than 60 different facial expressions for animators to replicate when creating the computer-generated Audrey. Wow, that is a huge amount of information for us to take in, and if I were you, I might rewind this slightly or go back slightly and reread it again. Feel free to make any notes that you can about why they did what they did. So these are the tasks that I would like you to complete today. So who is Audrey Hepburn and why is she famous? You might like to go on a range of search engines to find information about her. I want you to make some notes about what is nostalgia. Again, you may have got that information from some of the slides previously. I'd like you to watch a range of chocolate adverts on YouTube and think about what they are trying to portray to get over to their audience. I want you to not just write about what does CGI stand for, the 3 letters, the 3 initials, but I want you to go into more detail about what it's about. And then finally, the last task, I want you to think about why are there moral issues related to the CGI use of a dead celebrity in an advertising campaign? Why should we do it? Why should we not do it? What are the views of different people? Okay, thank you for listening today. Next week, we will go into further detail on this advertising campaign and close study product.